it's still been the slowest I've ever seen this show.
Bored at the con, I'm at the con board.
We're down 62% so far. It's cons like this that honestly make me rethink everything that I'm doing. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and this is the Ani-Me 2025 Artist Alley vlog. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. It is really noisy in here this time. And I'm using my nicer camera, so I have my better microphone, but it picks up more background noise than the other one does, but I kind of like that. This has been probably one of the worst setups that we've ever had. Not like the display site, but like actual the process of setting up. I don't know if you guys could tell during the time lapse, but we had to like take apart the grid display like 3 different times because this is the second time doing this newer setup with the shelf for the stickers. But we just like didn't allocate different grids for different things. But yeah, so it is Saturday, doors opened for, I believe, VIPs at 9:30, show started at 10. We didn't finish setting up until like 10:30 and it's already after 11. So there's a lot of people in here. It's been pretty steady. I don't know if it's the boredom that I'm still feeling or I don't know what. I don't feel like being here this weekend, but I'm here and I have another convention next week. So you do what you gotta do. All right, it is 3 o'clock, almost on the dot. You can't even see that. Well, you just have to believe me. It's 3 o'clock. Show ends at 7 today, so we have 4 more hours to go, which is brutal because it is really slow in here. I have had a couple of rushes, and we're in the green, but like it's really slow. Even Ryan said walking around outside and in the building here and then the other buildings, like there's just not people. We just, out of curiosity, counted the cash box and checked the card reader, and compared to what we did on a Saturday at this show last year, we are currently down 70%, which is crazy. So I kind of felt like it was gonna happen this way, but I think we're finally feeling the effects of like how crazy the economy is right now. So it's not good. Luckily we're still in the green and luckily we're local. All of my feels go out to those of you who have done this con from out of town. Hopefully you guys have also made your money back, but there's still a few hours left. I don't have high hopes for how it's gonna be. And I really don't have high hopes for tomorrow because Sundays in Fresno are notoriously much quieter at conventions than Saturdays. So I will do another check-in when I have something else to report, but we'll see how the rest of the day goes.
We
Being
are.
bored, I know.
Bored at the con, I'm at the con board.
It is just after 6, and we are out of here because it did not get any busier. I made a few more sales, but for the most part, it has been incredibly dead today. So I know tomorrow is going to be probably much of the same, but we'll see. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Even though I post a lot about selling at events and conventions, it's really important to remember that I also sell online, and most of you guys do too. Etsy is my highest grossing platform, and part of its recent growth is thanks to this week's sponsor, EverBee. EverBee is an extension for Etsy that plugs right into your shop to provide analytics not only on various keywords and niche topics, but your own shop and listings as well. And while you can sign up and use EverBee completely for free, the amount of data and research tools available in the growth plan is invaluable to an Etsy shop owner of any stage. Even if you already have an established Etsy shop, utilizing EverBee's research tools to analyze your own listings is extremely useful to see what aspects of your listings are underperforming and what you can do to enhance their visibility and get more sales. Even at the free level, EverBee is great for anyone who is researching niches or keywords for their Etsy listings to help give your shop a great head start. Or if you're interested in investing in your own business, like I do, you can join the growth program by clicking the link below. It is an affiliate link, so I'll get a little bit of a kickback. You don't have to use it, but it's a great way to support me in any way that you possibly can. Joining the EverBee growth program is incredible because not only do you get all of the tools that you would get on the free level, you get access to so many more and unlimited searches, and it's just a really great way to give your shop the boost it needs. Now, let's get back to the con. Good morning, guys. It is day 2. Con opened at 10, but it is just after 11 now. It seems to be busier right now so far, but we did leave at 6 yesterday, and just doing our numbers from yesterday, we're down 62% so far from last year, which is crazy. Like, talking to other vendors, I'm not the only one feeling it, which is nice, but at the same time not, because we're all being hit by whatever's going on. And in all the years I've been doing this show, I've been doing it since 2017, I've never seen it this slow. But it is a little bit busier this morning. I hope the crowds stay, and I hope it gets busier because a lot of the shows that have weekend cons in Fresno specifically, like Sunday is usually slower to start because people are at church. So usually a church crowd dumps out and they'll all come back over here. But there's just too many options going on globally and in the country to assume why it's down so much from last year. So I don't know, we'll see how the rest of the day goes. My friend Sherry Rose Art came by and dropped off the cutest little picture of Periwinkle with kitty ears and her little cat character whose name I'm actually not sure of, but you can't tell in the background it's like glittery. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. It's going on the wall. Thank you.
Where's all the people? They're not here. Maybe they're over here? Well, there's some peoples.
It is almost 4 o'clock. My lights on the booth have died, which is a reflection of how I'm feeling because it is so slow in here and I'm so bored out of my mind. It was a little bit busier this afternoon, but for the most part, it's still been the slowest I've ever seen this show. So be sure to stay tuned for the last part of this video where I talk about my profits and expenses to be at this show. Or you can join my newly created YouTube membership to already go and see the video I put out talking about my real dollar amounts that I did at the show. So if I don't see you guys again, I will see you in the next part. Well, there is nothing like absolutely bombing your local convention. It's cons like this that honestly make me rethink everything that I'm doing. I think I mentioned it a little bit, but I don't know what was going on with the attendance on that show. But let's talk about actual facts first, instead of speculation. We'll get into that in just a moment. This is the end of the video where I talk about the overview of the convention, how it went, how we did, pros and cons of selling at this convention, and I also talk about my profits versus expenses. If you want to see the actual dollar amounts of the profits and expenses and all of the unsaid details and feelings that I have about this convention, both positive and negative, feel free to join my Patreon for $5 or more, or as I mentioned earlier, you can also join right now and see right now the video exclusive to my members only here on YouTube for $2.99 a month. You get to see a whole video where I talk about the actual dollar amounts that I spent and made to be at the show, as well as other things that aren't discussed here. So the overview. Ani-Me is my local convention in Fresno, California. It was held March 15th and 16th at the Fresno Fairgrounds, and it started every day at 10 a.m. and ended on Saturday at 7 p.m. and on Sunday at 5 p.m. This is the first year that this convention has used an additional building that's not attached to the main commerce building that we're usually in. And because of that, it's hard to tell what the estimated amount of attendees was, especially because I didn't get to leave my booth much, but it honestly didn't feel like there were any more than 2,000 people at the show all weekend. I saw on their website that pre-sale tickets were being sold for 2-day tickets only at $19.99 a piece, and at the door tickets were $20 for a weekend pass, $15 for Saturday, $10 for Sunday. Parking was also $10 a day unless you were lucky enough to find a free street parking spot. I have not been around since the beginning, so I don't know when exactly this convention started, but I think based on the way they retitle it every year that this is the 13th year that Ani-Me has been around. I also know that it started as a mall event and at some point in the first couple of years graduated into showing at the fairgrounds. This was the very first convention I ever did in 2017, pictures to prove it, and I have been growing a clientele here since then. That being said, our sales were down 62% based on numbers from last year's show, and after looking back at all of my records, we made significantly less than we ever made at any of the shows post-pandemic, and just barely a little bit more than any of the shows we did pre-pandemic, which is a huge bummer because we've been on a very reliable incline in growth and sales at this event specifically since 2022 when it reopened. Some more Lay Spirit facts. We sold 130 products at this show. Our best-selling items were die cut stickers. We sold 49 of those. And our worst-selling items were sticky notes. We sold absolutely 0. Our best-selling single item was the Fresno Nightcrawler, hello, focus, Society die cut sticker. We sold 7 of them. Some pros for this event. This is one of our few local events. It's local and reliable, which means we have less of an overhead. We are also super familiar with the process of applications and load in, load out, times, basically what to expect with this show. The weather is always beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen it rain during the show, even though March can be a rainy season. We literally had like a week-long rainstorm and it took a break over the weekend and resumed raining on Monday. The cosplayers love that, I know, because there's a lot of really pretty blooming areas around the fairgrounds where they can take cosplay pictures. I also know that the vendor tables have only increased in cost a little bit since I started in 2017, and for an 8-foot artist alley table, it's still one of the most affordable tables in California. And despite everyone feeling how slow this show was, almost all of the vendors I spoke to were in the green, and even some of my friends who came from out of town were still in the green even though they had travel expenses. Some cons for this con. I spoke a little bit about this in previous clips in this vlog. This is the slowest I've ever seen this show. I actually went back and watched last year's vlog, which I highly recommend. I'm gonna link it at the end of this video. I'm also gonna link it throughout the video. If you're watching on desktop, you can click on those to just see the clips that Ryan gets for me of walking around the convention at any given time of the day last year versus this year. Shocking. Shocking. I've literally never seen this show this slow. And even though this show has been around for about 13 years, other than the upgrade from a mall setting to the fairgrounds, we have not seen this show grow much at all in the years that we've been selling here, which is such a bummer because it has so much potential. Another con is that this show, amongst many others, still sells at the fairground. I will die on this hill that I can't stand events that are held at the fairgrounds because it's just extremely outdated. I grew up going to the fairgrounds in the 90s and I don't think anything has changed from then. I don't know how long it's been around from then because everything kind of felt outdated then. It's also in a super weird part of town that most people don't like to travel to. This one came as a shock. There were only 2 food trucks this year as an option for attendees or vendors to eat. Usually there's like 5 or 6, and I have absolutely no idea what that was all about. There was one evening when Ryan and I were out getting food with our badges on, and somebody made a remark about our badges and said, "Oh, I had no idea that was going on this weekend. I always go." I don't know that this was advertised this year. Like, usually the news is out there. Usually there's a lot more promotion on social media. And even though I'm usually in my own little bubble, like, I don't think anybody knew it was going on this year, which is a bummer because it's always the same time every single year. I also have from very reliable sources that ticket sales at the door were cash only. So if you didn't do a prepaid ticket, then you had to have cash on hand to buy your way in. And unless you wanted to use the ATM machine that was there and pay ATM fees, you were turned away at the door. I kind of already touched on this, but we profited less at this show than we did in 2022, which was our first year full-time, our first year selling at this event since the pandemic, and we made slightly more than we did in what I recorded for my 2018 and 2019 sales. I didn't record anything in 2017. And I think to date, knock on literally any wood that I can find, this is the worst year-over-year convention profit loss I have yet to see in my business. And that's scary. And this is just my own opinion and based on our own numbers. If we were not local, I would not do this show again, just based on how this year went. But I am local and I try my best to support the local events because we don't have many here in Fresno. So I do, at this time, plan to be back for 2026. So now we're on to the profits versus expenses for Ani-Me 2025. And here is the pie chart. It's pie chart, that's for sure. I don't know, this was such an outlier. Like, I don't know if all of this was a Fresno issue, if this is a economy issue. I have no idea because the last 2 shows I've done were Fresno based. Most of our profit came from card sales, followed by cash. We had just a little bit of Venmo. Table cost was what it usually is. Sales tax. The only other cost was the Wi-Fi that I paid for that should get us through to our next event next weekend. And food. We probably could have done better on food and it wouldn't have been so bad, but I wanted to splurge. So yeah, that's that. Again, I don't know if there were a bunch of factors that are potential reasons why this show was the way that it was this year. Even compared to Anime Gaming Con that we did in February, which you can go watch that vlog as well on the channel. Even though we were in a separate building and that was my first year selling on that show, I knew that it was going to be a bit slower because just circumstances, like it's still a growing show. It doesn't have the established fan base. And my numbers were only slightly higher than from that show. And like, just comparing the line to get in for attendees from Gaming Con versus this one, like even when we were coming in early to set up on Saturday morning, there was nobody in line. Like at any given time, there was nobody in line at Ani-Me. So I don't know. But feel free to join my memberships at the $2.99 tier. You can hear me talk a little bit more in detail about some of the reasons I think may have affected this show this year, maybe affected myself, and also see those real dollar amounts. That being said, I'm just a little bit bummed out. It's hard to say if a lot of this is... I mean, I know for a fact that I wasn't the only one affected, but it's always hard to walk away from an event that did this poorly, especially one that you've seen positive growth at for the last 4 years. 3 years. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 3 years. And you can't help but think that maybe you're doing something wrong or you're not doing enough, which ties back into the mindset that I've had lately that my business is just not well, but that I am starting to, that I've been putting out lackluster things because I'm feeling lackluster about it, and now that reciprocation from potential customers is being felt. I don't know. I could be completely off my rocker with that one, but it's just something you think about as a small business owner, and you can't really even like get those numbers or those comparisons from other people because everybody's booths, everybody's shops, everybody's products are so different. Your clientele is going to be different, so you can't compare like apples to apples to anybody else. So I think that's probably enough said about that. I'm getting ready to prepare for our next event, which is CarrierCon, which you will see immediately next week after this one goes up, and we are excited. We've never done that one before. Other than that, this one's a little bit out of the way, but next month we will be at SakuraCon in Seattle. It will be our first time doing anything in Seattle. I know there's a few of you who are super excited that we're going to be up there, so I'm really, really looking forward to a new area, a new market, and a new group of customers and clientele, and get to meet some of you guys. So I'm going to shut my mouth now. That was a really loud slap. I don't know why I'm punching my hands. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye!
And that's why I wish you the best and say goodbye. You start to get dressed and then we cry, 'cause we both know it's gonna hurt, but not as much as this does. We had a good run, don't say we didn't.